Welcome to SciTech Culture with Steve Kern and Ben Warner, where we examine science, technology and culture in the 21st century. Visit our website at scitechculture.com.
We really can't stay away from AI these days, and we're going to circle back to it again. And I really did have to chuckle at these photos that you sent through. I thought they were real until you told me that they weren't, generated and whatnot. There was all sorts of great things you were up to.
All in a day's work, Ben. I started off with a casual jog to work with a friend, and then once I got there, I presented the keynote at the Future Tech Summit 2040. Then after that, over lunch, I saved a dog from being hit by a car, and then after that, it'd been a busy day, but I enjoyed dinner with my mentor.
Absolutely, and I hope you posted it all on LinkedIn just to tell everyone about it.
Well, there are lots of people already posting this sort of material. I didn't try very hard, obviously, if you look closely at the images, but if I'd posted a series of photos from different angles, I could have really recreated some truly exciting activities, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. But you sold me on your marathon photo at any rate.
Oh, that's right. Just like me in my white shirt, not even breaking a sweat.
Yes, absolutely. But what I guess this kind of points to is, and I found it's a bit hard for me not to be disturbed by a lot of this, in the sense that it just sort of opens a window to, you can see how this type of tool like this, which you in all other respects is kind of amazing if used in the right way, but it just seems to be another tool in the AI toolkit to generate content that is not real. And in an environment where I think we've discussed before that it's all about one-upmanship and social media posting to make yourself look better than the other person, where does this end? Because if your social media feeds are getting flooded with this type of content now, I mean, it was bad enough, the old FOMO debate, from 15 years ago on Facebook, when you saw your friends having that spectacular holiday that they were actually having for real, thinking that, that's their lives now, and you're getting that kind of FOMO thing happening and you're getting depressed. That's like a whole issue in itself. But what happens when all of it is fake and you have potentially an audience that isn't interrogating it as much as what they should?
Well, potentially that audience will all be bots anyway. But taking a step back to AI, and that's right, they're AI tools, and there are reasons for AI tools. And as humans, the creativity that we've got left to us is actually how you implement those AI tools, because the AI tools are taking away the actual creative outputs. And of course, now all you need is an AI voice clone, probably my image, and probably another AI generator, and I could be an avatar now. This could be connected to Siri or /ChatGPT, Alexa, Gemini. It wouldn't matter, and you wouldn't know, because I'd just be saying the same old rubbish I've been saying for the last 15 years.
Well, I mean, the one, just off the top, if we were to apply it to our little podcast here, I mean, it's conceivable that in a, not too distant future, say we could write a script, of exactly what we're going to say, whatever it is, so that it's 15 minutes long. You and I, this would still be old school. We agree on the script, and then I just feed it into the AI generator, and then using all of the video that we've compiled over all these years, it could probably just generate and edit this video without us actually having to record it.
Well, potentially without us having to do anything once we've uploaded all the files, except ask our AI agent to write us a show.
Yeah, exactly. And take out the grey hair and whatever else that we don't want to see on screen, because we want to put our best selves forward after all.
Oh, and why not set us in Monaco or maybe in the Alps somewhere, or maybe just down by the beach?
Yeah, I was about to say, just strolling down the beach at Monaco while we're, waxing lyrical about AI. What better could it be?
Well, that's right. And so, yeah, as I said last week, I think what we'll see initially might be quite interesting and to a point quite new. But I think the danger here is, especially in this modern age, fast-moving modern age, I think it could get old very quickly. So then the question will be, how do you put new stuff into it? That remains to be seen. Or will people just be happy with the same old stuff over and over again?
I would have liked to have known potentially how these tools would have been used if social media didn't exist. If you go back to like how the internet was prior to social media, but assuming we've got the speeds and the capabilities that we have now, but there's no social media, would that, I mean, it's obviously a thought experiment, I guess, more than anything else, but I just wonder if it would have been less sensational and people would have actually been more inclined to use it in a creative aspect rather than trying to feed the algorithm in the social media feed.
That's a really interesting perspective. Perhaps the other perspective to sit on top of this would be really AI and these tools are just an extension of social media. I think without social media they probably never would have been developed. So the camera existed before social media, and taking photos on your phone existed before social media. Social media gave the platform for those photos and media to exist in real time. And then the AI tools are everything from the algorithms that drive content in your feed and advertising in your feed, right through to the filters that have now become generators. So, and let's face it, the early filters that you put on images in social media are effectively AI generators. They're just not as advanced. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Would have been a nice alternate universe to explore to see how that would have worked.
Well, we've only been here for 15 years, Ben. What's it going to be like in another?
Oh, it already feels like a century as far as I'm concerned. Maybe in light of all that, we'll just turn our attention to this topic about AI usage and its impact on the environment, because that's something that isn't necessarily covered as much as what you might think, because I guess it's a wonderful thing if you've got like a text prompt, you just type something in, it gives you an answer, you don't think, oh well, that didn't really take much. But the cumulative effect of all these billions and trillions of queries that are going through the system now, there's numbers being crunched in a data center somewhere to do that, and obviously the more difficult and complicated the query is, like if you're asking it to generate a photo, eventually a video, that's going to suck out a lot more power, and obviously there needs to be data centers doing that. And I was just drawing my attention to this ABC article from the other week where they were having a look at data centers in Sydney and the use on potential impacts on drinking water and how much it's using. Saying that current data centers are using approximately 3.5 billion litres of Sydney's drinking water supply per year, which is less than 1% of the whole demand. But that sounds like a lot to me, just for computing power. And then there's also talk of because we need to keep these data centers cool, because of how they're run, and hearing stories of how Microsoft is doing and other companies are doing tests where they're trying to build data centers in the ocean and that sort of thing to to address issues like that. I as soon as I heard that, I was kind of like imagining all these fish rising to the surface dead all around the data center and all that. But anyway,
as we boil the oceans,
yeah, exactly. But there's an impact, and it would seem that AI has a particular energy requirement. that might need to be more taken into account as we continue to progress to use it as we go along.
Definitely. But it's only one part of a very, very large picture. So does AI require more energy? Will we require more data centers in the future? And will that need more energy and more cooling? And the answer is yes, it will. But it's not. I've seen it represented as some sort of climate change threat, and it's some sort of, obnoxious or insidious, movement. The fact is that everything we're doing today is underpinned by people storing data and moving it around, and particularly personal data. I'm not really talking about work data or corporate data or any other data. It's people. So, yeah, I don't know. 30 years ago, we used to be worried about the pollution caused by cars, and it's led us now to having another sort of polluting car that pollutes before it gets on the road rather than after it gets on the road. Mobile phones are potentially the car, the cigarette, whatever you want to call it, of the future, but because they're so intrinsic to our life, no one wants to recognize that. The truth is that to transition to a fully renewable grid, I think a lot of the thinking around that is based on the grid requirements 30 or 40 years ago. We as humans, as societies, as advanced societies now, developing nations are now catching up on technology because it's been individualized thanks to the mobile phone, because it's become accessible thanks to things like Starlink, these and Google Balloon. So these sorts of things mean that we're going to be using more data, transmitting more data, and data is going to be a personal currency. Maybe not with the same sort of value as maybe Bitcoin, but you know where I'm coming from. So there's no way around this. Better design of data centers. There's talk now of using sewage and wastewater to cool data centers. There have to be solutions. And I guess that's also why in the US now some of those very large social media companies with large data requirements are looking at modular nuclear reactors to power them.
Absolutely. Scaling up, throw more at the issue rather than can we do this better, or can we find a way that's because you would expect that I wouldn't be surprised over time if there are hardware improvements. When I say that, the way a new type of chip, because ostensibly, as wonderful as all these ARM chips have been, there's still an extension of a technology that started in last century. Can they come up with something else that's better and more efficient and doesn't require this that sort of thing? And that's just one example of many things that they could look at.
Precisely, Ben. If you look back pre the ARM chips, without them, by now, what would we be at? 30 gigahertz CPUs?
Oh, and phones with fans in them that would
liquid cooling. I mean, who can forget the famous Apple G5 that came with liquid cooling? So, definitely as we see these advancements, these power requirements will come down, and obviously the availability and the cost of resources will force better design. So I think what we're looking at is the usual thing. A problem comes up. Humans have been doing the low cost thing for as long as they can, but now it's no longer appropriate or cost effective, so they have to go back to the drawing board. Give it another 10 or 15 years, I think you're right. This probably won't be such a problem.
Absolutely. All right, we might wrap it up there. Maybe I'll generate some photos myself. I don't know if I can. I'm actually kind of interested in the idea of just feeding a film script into an AI. I've got a couple that I still have on the shelf of feeding it in there and seeing if it can generate the film that I would have made if I'd done it the old school way.
Ask it to generate a film poster for you.
Oh yeah, that's a good first step. Absolutely.
and a series of promotional images for the trailer.
Oh, what? See, it can do it all. It can do everything. Absolutely. Alrighty, so that's it for this week's episode. We'll catch you next time.